Good evening. This is
Musimila Dioluwa
and Deji Owotumi, bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews, and commentaries. First, the highlights. President Tinubu promises well-resourced military.
FG to extend social safety net program to reduce poverty level.
Oyo government to prioritize all requests in 2024 budget.
US-EU back African Union bid to join G20.
And now the details. President Bola Tinubu has promised to do everything within his constitutional powers to ensure that the Nigerian military is well-resourced and fit to discharge its constitutional duties of protecting the nation. The pledge was contained in his message to the graduation ceremony of participants of the National Defense College Course 31 today in Abuja. President Tinubu was represented at the event by the Minister of Defense, Alhaji Mohammed Badaru. The president said the armed forces of Nigeria represents one of the finest institutions the nation could be proud of. He assured that the government would continue to appreciate the sacrifice and patriotism of the gallant men and women of the military.
Meanwhile, some bandits in the late hours of Thursday allegedly invaded St. Raphael Parish in Fadan Kamantan, Kafanchan Diocese in southern Kaduna, and razed the parish house. It was reported that while some priests escaped during the incident, Naman Danlami, who was a seminarian, was caught in the inferno. There is no official confirmation yet from either the state government or Kaduna State Police Command. However, the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Kaduna State, Reverend John Hayab, confirmed the incident to newsmen on phone.
In the meantime, the Department of State Services, DSS, says it is carrying out an investigation on an incident that occurred on Thursday between its staff and a mob at the Garki Market, Abuja. Now, this was disclosed in a statement released by the service's public relations officer, Peter Afunaya. The service noted that investigation has commenced and that details of the inquiries will be communicated as soon as possible. It assured that it will not hesitate to discipline any staff found culpable. It would be recalled that 2 people were said to have been injured yesterday after an operative of the DSS allegedly shot at a man in the market in the Gariki 2 area of Abuja. Reports added that a woman had invited a DSS operative to accost a tailor she had given clothes after having delayed the job for some time. In a bid to avoid being manhandled by the DSS operative, the tailor ran away but was shot in the leg, allegedly by the DSS operative, while a bullet also hit a girl nearby.
The Minister, Senator Dave Umahi, clarified today a report that said that the federal government has stopped funding the construction of federal roads in the southeast. He clarified the report while addressing pressmen during the inspection of the ongoing rehabilitation of the Uturu-Suekuto-Akara Road in Abia State. The minister stated that there is no iota of truth in the information, given a directive that all roads across Nigeria must be totally done on concrete. Senator Umahi, however, stopped work on some road projects in the region until a review of the contracts is carried out, adding that the cost of additional projects was exceeding the amount budgeted for them.
Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, has revealed that the federal government is ready to extend its social safety net program. This, according to the minister, is to reduce the level of poverty across Nigeria. Dr. Edu announced the federal government's ambitious plan during a visit to the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, in Maiduguri. She said the initiative is a strategic effort on the part of the government to empower individuals and families in the country. Dr. Edu added that this is also part of the Tinubu administration's plan to reduce the level of poverty in Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the 19 northern states and the FCT today lamented the harsh economic situation in the country following the removal of subsidy on petrol. The organization lamented that Nigerians are suffering due to the subsidy removal. It noted that life in the country is becoming very difficult as prices of food, transportation and other essential commodities have gone up beyond the reach of the masses. Specifically, the Northern Khan called on President Bola Tinubu and governors of the 36 states to live up to the expectations of Nigerians by mitigating the current economic hardship. Khan further noted that petrol subsidy removal has left Nigerians hungry, with poverty now widespread across the country.
In the meantime, the Oyo State government has described the food distribution exercise under the Sustainable Action for Economic Recovery SAFER as a testing ground that has thrown up its own challenges and successes. This is according to a statement issued by the State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Prince Dotun Oyelade. The statement noted that in spite of the challenges, the food distribution reached the most vulnerable in all the 33 local government areas of the state. The statement said the exercise can therefore be rated a success. The commissioner said the food distribution exercise, which is the first phase of SAFER, consists of only 25% of the food to be distributed to the identified poorest of the poor in the state. He added that government will ensure that desperate and violent-minded people are not allowed to hijack the exercise from the organizers. He pointed out that distribution of food items is only an aspect of SAFER, noting that other areas like transportation, healthcare, insurance, food security, agriculture, and empowerment loans are also very active.
The Seyi Makinde administration in Oyo State is working hard to spread development to all geopolitical zones of the state. The state's Deputy Governor, Barrister Bayo Lawal, gave this assurance at the Stakeholders Consultative and Engagement Meeting on the year 2024 budget. BCOS reporter Olamipo Sishala was in Kishi Town, Okeogo Zone 2 for the event.
Relevant stakeholders, including traditional rulers, political stakeholders, and religious leaders, gathered at Kishi Town Hall in continuation of the Stakeholders Consultative Meeting on the year 2024 budget. The meeting provided an opportunity for people in the 6 local governments making Okeogun Zone 2 to state their needs expected to be captured in the 2024 budget. Addressing the people, the Deputy Governor of Oyo State, Barrister Bayo Lawal, emphasized the importance of budget in government, said the stakeholders' consultative engagement is key towards ensuring good governance. The number 2 man in the state explained that Governor Seyi Makinde administration believes in the engagement of the stakeholders in the 6 local governments in Okeogun Zone 2, calling for unity across the zone to allow government much needed development to the zone and the state at large.
Let us make the best use of it. Let's make the best use of it by cooperating with the government of the day and by offering useful suggestions and advice so that all of us together will profit and take advantage of governance economic. So we can select by ilé kọ́lé àwọn ìpèníjà ó jọra wọn àwọn mọ̀fẹ́ wa ó jọra wọn àwọn mọ̀kọ̀mọ̀kọ̀ wa ó jọra wọn láti gbọ́dọ̀ kóríkórí láti sọ pé ẹ̀jáwó àrùn tó ń sogójì tó ń sọ̀gùn.
Barrister Lawal urged people of Okeogun and the entire state to continue to support Governor Seyi Makinde in his quest to rapidly transform Oyo State under Omitutun 2.0. In their remarks, the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Professor Mosba Babatunde, and his education counterpart, Professor Soliu Adelabo, said priority will be given to the requests of the people in their respective local government areas and will be captured in the 2024 budget.
That is a bottom-to-top approach. And then we have the top-to-bottom approach too from what the government is going to bring around. So we are going to merge the two together, the bottom-up and then the top-down approach. So we have a baseline at which we are going to actually come together and meet up. And with that framework, we'll be sure that we'll be able to capture what the people want.
This is what we call public participation. where you allow, apart from the executive, judiciary, legislature, you allow the public to participate in public finance. What do they want, and how do they want their resources to be expended in order to develop the socio-economic activities?
High point of the request made by stakeholders in the 6 local governments in Okeogun Zone 2 includes provision of security, health, education, rehabilitation of Ikere Gorge Dam to provide electricity and resuscitation of BCS TV transmission station at Ojewode. The stakeholders consultative meeting on the year 2024 budget is expected to continue on Monday, September 11 at Erua Township Hall for Ibarapa Zone, while Monday, 25th September is slated for the program at the Ogbomoso South Local Government Secretariat for Ogbomoso Zone.
The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has advocated for a proper implementation of tax justice to enable higher income earners in the country pay higher taxes than low income earners. Mr. Eustace James, NLC focal person on tax justice, made the call today in an interview with newsmen at the Fiscal Accountability for Inequality Reduction Project Media Colloquium and Exhibition organized by Oxfam Nigeria, supported by Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja. It decried the system where low-income earners and the vulnerable in the society pay higher and double taxes, while those occupying high public offices do not pay taxes. Mr. James, who identified tax justice as key to decent work, added that tax is the most sustainable means of public finance, explained that the poor are those that are exploited and extorted in the name of multiple taxations, while the rich keep invading and avoiding taxes. According to him, Tax Justice campaign has brought tax payment into the limelight to address inequality and injustice.
The Peter Obi Global Diaspora Support Network has rejected the judgments of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, which affirmed President Bola Tinubu as winner of the February 25, 2023 presidential election. In a statement by its convener, Professor Pat Obiefile, today, the group expressed shock over the judgments. It insisted that the decision of the justices did not reflect the position of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The group vowed to seek redress at the Supreme Court.
Meanwhile, the National and State Assembly Election Petitions Tribunal in Bayelsa State has set aside the election of the member representing Shagbama Ekeremo Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives, Fred Agbebi. The tribunal stated this in a judgment delivered on Thursday in Yanogwa by Justice Sylvester Odili on the petition filed by the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Michael Olomu. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, declared Agbedi the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, winner of the election, having polled over 21,000 votes, while Olomu of the APC had over 8,000 votes in February 25 House of Representatives polls. The panel also set aside the certificate of return issued to the PDP candidate. The tribunal further directed INEC to conduct a supplementary election within 90 days in some polling units and wards in the Shagbama and Ekeremo local government areas, which was marred by violence and other irregularities.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has approved the appointment of pharmacist Oluyemisi Oyewo as the Provost of the State College of Health Science and Technology, LALA Ibadan. Governor Makinde also approved the appointment of Mrs. Olatunde Ayola as the Registrar, Mr. Kayode Akinsoji as the Librarian, Mrs. Adiola Olanose as the Bursar, and Engineer Yokumi Ojerinde as the Director of Works. Reacting to the appointments, the new Provost, Pharmacist Oluyemisi Oyewo, on behalf of other appointees, commended Governor Seyi Makinde for approving their appointments, promising to ensure that the college becomes a world-class college soonest. The Provost also thanked the College Governing Council under the leadership of Associate Professor Aaron Olaogundiwe for the confidence reposed in them to serve in their different positions. Mrs. Oyewa sought the cooperation of the management, staff and students of the college in ensuring the development of the college.
Meanwhile, Secretary to the Oyo State Government, Professor Olanike Adeyemo, has said that the present administration and the state would support everything that would enhance the development of higher institutions of learning in the state. She made the pledge while hosting the management of the State College of Health, Science and Technology, Eleyele, who paid her a courtesy visit in Ibadan. She urged the college management team to be more proactive on the issue of academic accreditations at the institution so as to compete with other health sector institutions of learning within and outside Nigeria. Professor Adeyemo further admonished the management of the college to revive the college alumni as part of strategies to take the school to greater heights. The SSG also urged the Oyo State College of Health, Science and Technology to partner with other institutions in the country for the purpose of certificate upgrade.
There was jubilation at the Shong's Palace in Ogbomoso today as the Shong-elect Prince Afolabi Gandhi Oloye arrived to town. The pronouncement of Prince Afolabi Gandhi Oloye as Shong-elect by Ogbomoso Kingmakers was recently approved by Governor Seyi Makinde. Recall that the throne became vacant following the passing of the 20th Shonwo of Ogbomoso land, Oba Jimoh Oladuni Oyewumi Ajagungbade III, on December 12, 2021, after 47 years on the throne. The private helicopter which conveyed the Shonwo-elect to Ogbomoso town landed at Ogbomoso Grammar School, from where Prince Olaoye headed to the palace. According to BCOS Ogbomoso correspondent Aderemi Akomu, formal pronouncement rites on Prince Afolabi Gandhi Olaoye were performed at Abata within the palace by the Areago of Ogbomoso land, High Chief Shobala J. Otolori, and other kingmakers.
Yoruba is one of the three main languages spoken in Nigeria. It is believed that the Yoruba speakers constitute more than 30 million individuals throughout the region of West Africa. Today, the language is spoken by people cutting across several countries, but it appears that the owners of the language see it as primitive. Staff reporter Dupe Feintola in this report takes a look at the rate at which foreigners are embracing the Yoruba language.
Nigeria is a diverse place filled with various tribal groups and indigenous languages. Over the years, these languages have managed to travel outside the country. This is due to several reasons like the transatlantic slave trade, immigration, and cattle grazing. As a result of these factors, languages that were primarily spoken by just Nigerians are now being spoken in communities all over the world. For instance, recently there was a report of the University of North Carolina which introduced courses for the Yoruba language of Nigeria and West Africa in 3 levels of 3 credits each. Just a few weeks ago, Maryland, USA added Yoruba language for driver's learner's permit. Just a few weeks ago, Maryland, USA added Yoruba as language for driver's learner's permit. In an interview with BCS News, a Yoruba language speaking expert, Dr. Adeni Yakongbe, who said foreigners are putting Nigerians on their toes, lamented that their nonchalant attitude is not a good omen, while the appreciation of the language is dying.
But we knew what happened around us in the last election. You can't say you are coming out to vie for governorship seats, for House of Assembly seats in the Yoruba land, and you call yourself Yoruba, and you cannot speak in Yoruba. That's enough to deny you and cut your aspiration short. Will the older folks, we should begin to lament what may happen to Yoruba language in the years to come. Because one of the clear signs of a dying language is that the younger folks will not be speaking it.
The head of Linguistics Department, University of Ibadan, Professor Yekomi Taiwo, said, "It is a thing of pride that foreigners are embracing the language."
At the last count, there is about 54 universities in the US that teach Yoruba. Though what they do is the proficiency, to teach their people how to speak the language, how to write, and every year we send our student from here to the US for what is called FAT, Fulbright Language Teaching Assistantship. So we have been doing that for a long time. And it is also another opportunity to promote our language.
While Dr. Akogbe is calling on parents to pay attention to speaking and writing of Yoruba language, Professor Taiwo said UI is at the forefront of adopting natural language processing concept.
Our government should kindly put more attention to teaching and learning of Yoruba language at school level. Please, government should kindly absorb more Yoruba teachers who will teach these pupils and students. Government should kindly, make the teaching and learning of Yoruba language compulsory for private schools.
What we are doing, especially as far as Yoruba is concerned, is for us, especially here in the Department of Linguistics and African Languages, for us to promote the language. We want to make the language see technology. Currently, we have programs, natural language processing, computational linguistics that we are introducing to our programs here in the department. And the major aim of those programs is to make sure that whatever is done with English, with French, we'll be able to do that with our African languages.
Experts have continued to encourage those who use the language as a means of communication, especially the Yoruba group, to rise up and defend the language from going into extinction. Dupe Feintola, Business News.
The African Union looks set to become the newest member of the G20. Officials said this today as the bloc's bid won backing from existing members gathered for a summit in India. G20 host and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi called for the Pan-African organization to become a permanent member, arguing that developing nations need a greater say in global decision-making. The proposal has won backing from Washington, and today the European Union said it will also back the move. The group of 20 major economies currently consists of 19 countries, and the European Union, making up about 85% of global GDP and 2/3 of the world population. But South Africa is currently the only G20 member from the African continent. The Ethiopia-headquartered AU was created in 2002 following the disbanding of the Organization of African Unity.
Britain's King Charles III has thanked the public for their support in his first year as monarch, as it marked the one-year anniversary of the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. In a short statement published today, the 74-year-old British monarch recalled the fond memories he had of his mother and her selfless public service. Queen Elizabeth, who reigned for 70 years, died at 96 after a period of declining health. Throughout her reign, she did not publicly mark her ascension to the throne, as it was also the anniversary of her own father, King George's death in 1952.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. President Bola Tinubu has promised to do everything within his constitutional powers to ensure that the Nigerian military is well-resourced and fit to discharge its constitutional duties of protecting the nation.
Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, has revealed that the federal government is ready to extend its social safety net program to reduce the level of poverty across Nigeria.
The Sheyi Makinde administration in Oyo State is working hard to spread developments to all geopolitical zones of the state.
The African Union looks set to become the newest member of the G20. Officials said this today as the bloc's bid won backing from existing members gathered for a summit in India.
That's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Mary Adedapo and delivered by
Deji Owotumi. Good evening.
And Musimila Dioluwa Shuremekun. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.